We're live. You guys, I'm so excited. The very first episode of Coffee with Christa. And we're going to get it started here in just one really quick second. I know I have a couple of people that are going to be logging on. So hello, who's joining us? Oh, hey, Tina, how are you doing? So I'm excited.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. You're my very first guest.
Oh, I am honored. Very honored. So thank you.
I'm honored. You're amazing. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. Just you guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Christa Sutton. If you are watching this live, would you please go ahead and hashtag Let's Do This. And if you're watching this later and watching the replay, if you go ahead and hashtag replay, that would be fabulous. I would appreciate it. So let's go ahead and let's do this.
Let's do this.
Awesome. So good morning, everybody. Christa Sutton here, and you are hanging out with us live, having coffee with Christa. Thank you for attending our very first episode. I'm here with the beautiful Kathy Chambers. So excited that she is our very, very first guest on the show. So here's the thing, Coffee with Christa. Every week, you're going to have the opportunity for me to be able to have the privilege of introducing you to people that I think you need to know. So whether I am having my guests share information, inspiration, or something in between, thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for letting me come and hang out. I'm crashing her office.
Yes. No, you
crashing her office, and Finley's here with us. So
yes. The puppy wants to be on camera, so
yeah.
She keeps trying to jump in my lap.
That's okay. She can come up here anytime she wants to. So how I met Kathy, we've known each other
4 years. Yeah.
Three and a half. I've been here 3.5. So
okay.
About 3.5 years. We met through our networking group, the Grotto Group. If you're here local in Treasure Valley, you need to check it out. And you guys, I have a confession. When I first met Kathy, you know how you just meet people that immediately intimidate you in a really good way? That was Kathy. I got in a room with her and I was like, this is somebody I know that I knew I needed to know. And I'm so grateful because not only do I know her, but I consider her a really good friend.
Absolutely.
And there are so many things we could talk about today because this is a woman who has overcome amazing obstacles in many areas of her life. I mean, holy cow, we could be here all day. But what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about Toys for Tots because what an adventure that was this last Christmas season. So before you start talking about that, tell just whatever you want to share. Tell everybody a little bit about you. What do we need to know about Kathy?
Oh goodness. Okay, so I moved here to Idaho in 2006 to be a better place to start a business, raise my family. Just wanted to be somewhere that felt like home. I grew up on a orange grove with horses, and I came from California. I know that's the dreaded thing you're not supposed to say, but I did. But I lived on a farm practically my entire life. So when I moved here, it felt like home. So I moved here. I've been married to my best friend, my biggest supporter, my husband, for going on 23 years.
Oh, congratulations. He's fabulous.
Yeah, he's a big
good
deal.
Guy.
He's a big deal.
He's a big deal.
And then I have 2 amazing kiddos plus a bonus kiddo. So I have a daughter who's a sophomore going to College of Idaho, and she's studying veterinary medicine. And I have a son who's a senior who looks like he's probably going to follow her to College of Idaho. And I definitely enjoy having them close. And then we were blessed to have a young girl that we kind of semi-adopted, and she's part of our family too. So I have an 18, 19, and 20-year-old. So I should get a medal for that.
Pray for you.
Yes, please. They're great kids, but that's a lot, right? At one time. So
yes, it is.
Yeah. But I own an insurance office. This is all I've ever done my entire life. I look at it as a job where I get to help people every day, and I build wonderful relationships with customers, and I value that very, very much. It's kind of funny because I get told a lot of times that I intimidate people, but I think that's just because I'm very blunt and direct. You get what you get with me, and hopefully that's not always a bad thing. But I'm I'm passionate about the things that I'm passionate about, and people and families and life and doing the right thing. I'm very vocal about what I feel about that. And so I don't like to be told, you can't or you won't very often. And that's probably what's gotten me where I am in life, because I've had many people in my life tell me, you just can't do that. That's not possible. And that doesn't go over very well with me. So that's awesome. Kind of me in a nutshell. And then we have the little office dog, which most of you who are clients or friends know about Finley. She is the princess of the office, and she knows it. So
she's adorable. Where'd she go?
She's behind us. She's scratching on her treat door right now, hoping that someone will give her a treat. Yes, that's what she's hoping for.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. So here's the thing. I kind of want to set this up. So when was this? October. About the end of October, I was attending Kathy's Scarlet group. We belong to two different groups. And so I was visiting Kathy's group, and she shared some heartbreaking news. You've been collecting. Okay. So you've been collecting toys for Tots for a decade.
Yeah. Just here. We actually had started it back in California. So it was probably about 20 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't realize you were doing that in California. Cool.
So we did it back there for the agent that I was working for, but out here, this would have been our 11th year.
Okay. And so many of you that are here locally know about her big Santa event. Oh my gosh, just absolutely amazing. And Toys for Tots really relied on that event and Kathy for the majority of their toys here in Treasure Valley. And then something happened this last October, and I'll let you tell.
You let me explain. Okay.
I'll let you tell the story.
So yeah, this is one of those times where I have to bite my tongue because I want to be politically correct. So this event was the crazy brainchild of basically trying to fit a need, right? And turn something into, so I'll go back a little bit. How it started was twofold. My husband has a Christmas time birthday. We had a party at our house years and years ago. We had just gotten married, and he said, don't bring gifts, bring toys, and we'll donate them to Toys for Tots. So that's kind of initially how the idea started.
That's cool.
Well, then that same year, we had little kids, might have been the year after, we had little kids, and, we were living paycheck to paycheck, 2 babies, 13 months apart, trying to make ends meet. And I vividly remember we went to the mall, and my daughter was old enough to know who Santa was and wanted to go see Santa. And so we stood in line with everyone else, knowing I couldn't pay for a picture, but I figured it's Santa, they can visit Santa, right? So we get all the way up there after waiting, an hour in this line with screaming children. And we get to the very front, and the lady says she can't see Santa without buying a picture. And we didn't have the $15, $20, whatever it was to do that. Man. So I had to break my daughter's heart and tell her she couldn't see Santa. And so that was not okay with me. And so those two things turned into, how can we do a community event to give back to other people, right? And being in a situation where money was very tight, Christmas was not something elaborate by any means. We were lucky if we could afford toys at that point. And so how can we do something to give back, but also provide a place where people can go and see Santa and be part of that celebration without spending any money, right? Because it's expensive. Taking a family of 5 to the movies is $100 now. Yeah, it's insane. So that's kind of how that started. And then my father, who had helped as Santa through the Masons for years and years, kind of got roped into it. And he's been Santa all along and helping us with that. And fast forward to we moved here. I opened my business December 1st in 2008. And if anybody remembers 2008, it was ugly.
It was ugly.
And so here I was faced with this, I'm starting a new business. I have no money again, right? I have no clients. No one knows who I am. And I'm trying to convince them to come and visit Santa and bring a toy. And I promised that I wasn't going to solicit or market them in any way whatsoever. But I wanted them to come and be part of this and see that. So that very first year, it was just myself. We had about 50 families show up. A lot of families from foster care outreach, special needs outreach. It was amazing, these families that came in. And then from that, it grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And so I was the second occupant in the tenant building that I was in. And as the tenants came on, I had the support of the property manager to go and talk to them about becoming part of this event. And of course, they were always very skeptical, you know, and it came with a caveat. They could not solicit their business. Mm-hmm. It was 100% give back. They were not allowed to gather names, phone numbers, promote their items, be salesy in any way whatsoever. But what I wanted them to do was open their business openly on a Saturday, provide some kind of a Christmas related activity or item for people to come from building to building. So if you can imagine like an L-shaped complex, every building, you would go inside each building and each building would have something going on.
Right.
So that grew. We got to the point where we were having somewhere upwards of 4,000 to 5,000 people showing up. Nice. We would have the Marines here for Toys for Tots. We had Santa, free pictures, everything was free. Decorate cookies with Mrs. Claus, ice fishing, a live reindeer. We had ponies at one point where they could take pictures with ponies from Mini Joy ponies, which are therapeutic little ponies.
Oh, neat.
So we had that. We had, games, reindeer food, free pizza, free donuts, free popcorn, everything was free. Everything was free. Finley, I know, get down, sweetie. So anyways, it grew and grew. Well, in September is when we have to file our permit with the city.
Yeah.
And I went down to file the permit from the city, and I found out that unfortunately we had some issues last year with overcrowding of the buildings, parking, different things like that. And the permit that I had originally filed, which was fortunately filed as a 503c, so it didn't cost an exorbitant amount of money, was no longer going to be available to us. So I was looking at permits of thousands of dollars, which kind of defeats the purpose at that point. So I had to make a call to the Marines and tell them that unfortunately I wouldn't be able to do the event. And there was just dead silence for like 3 minutes straight on the other end of the line, just very uncomfortable silence. And
well, you've been the main provider.
Yeah.
So your event has been the main provider of toys for quite a while.
Yeah. So this event is provided the largest single contribution from one event, right? Even bigger than Walmart's contributions or Target or Albertsons. So on average, we would have somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 toys is what we would end up with.
Awesome.
Plus there was monetary donations as well. Mm-hmm. So people would come and they would show up, or they'd just be driving by and they'd put $20 in. The Marines were here, so they'd have like a canister they could put money in. But anyways, I said, I can't do it. And there's just this silence, and you'll have to pick her up. She won't jump. So the Marine finally said on the other end, "We're not going to be okay." And those words broke me, right? Yeah. Come here, I'll pick you up. You won't leave me alone until I pick you up. Sorry, guys. So this is little Finley. Say hi, Finley.
Say hi, Finley.
So anyways, I said, let me figure out what I'm going to do. So then I went to my support system, which mm-hmm. is Grotto, and the businesses that were here, and my friends and my relationships. And I just very openly told them, we've got to make this happen. It is not fair to the hundreds of families and hundreds of kids that won't get presents this year because I can't make some permit work, right? Like that's just not okay. And again, don't tell me no, I can't do it. Right? We got to figure this out. So I went to Grotto primarily and the businesses that are here that were contributing and said, I need you guys to step up and help me. So my initial goal was 2,000 toys, which would be about the lower side of what we would normally get. No way in a million years did I think it was going to happen. Didn't think it was going to happen, honestly. Had very little faith.
I know.
I had a lot of people telling me that I was ridiculous, that it would happen. But my thought was, if I get to go to 100 businesses that I know or contacts I know and get them each to donate 10 toys. And then my husband and I personally committed to do 50 toys. So I figured, okay, that'll take the edge off when someone only does 8 or 7 or whatever. But if I can go to 100 people. So I went to my group and immediately everyone, of course, they jumped in. Yeah. Because I have the most amazing people around me. They made this happen. I know Christa doesn't like me to say this, but they do. I did not come up with all these toys. People stepped up and made this happen.
Mhm.
And so it went from Grotto to Grotto leadership to friends to church groups to it just snowballed.
It did. It really just kind of took off. It was so fun. We sat in here. We did a Facebook Live and on the Grotto business page, and then shared it. And we had people coming out of the woodworks. It was so awesome.
I had random people, I still don't know who they are to this day, send Amazon packages here with stuffed animals in them. People stop by the office and drop off toys that I would ask them how they heard about it, and they would just say, this is just a blessing for your event, and that was it, and they'd walk out. Like, it was just, I was in tears daily and overwhelmed. We had businesses where the entire business would have 50 employees, and those employees would come up with games. Like we had, so Eric Josephson, who was at Home River Group, his owners of the company let the employees pie them and pour maple syrup on them and throw glitter at them.
That was hilarious.
Like
they did that live. It was awesome.
And then in order to do it, you paid money. Like you would put $10 in to pie your boss or whatever. Like it just, it went on, and church groups, and then other church groups would find out about it. And it was just incredible. It was incredible. I was in line at Walgreens, okay, buying a toy. And there was a woman in front of me in line. I'm trying not to cry here. And she said to me, why do you have this cart full of toys? Your kids must be spoiled. And I said, well, they are spoiled, but these are actually being donated to Toys for Tots. She put back an item that she had purchased and ran back and bought a toy and she was in front of me in line, right? So I didn't know what she was doing. And then I walked out with my cart, and she walked over to me, and with tears in her eyes, she said, you know what? I feel really bad for what I said because I made an assumption. And I thought, here's just another privileged person buying a bunch of stuff for their kids. And I had no idea, and shame on me, and I want to help. And so she handed a toy to us, right? Like things like that happened over and over. There was, God's hand was in it so much that it was just incredible, right? Yeah. So then we couldn't have the event here at the office. It was a no, cannot happen. Yeah. So we opened our home, which is a little scary when you have hundreds of people that are just going to randomly show up in this 4-hour time frame. Of course, it snowed. It was freezing. The weather was horrible. We opened our garage up, and we basically threw some snacks out. A couple people donated their time and effort to put some things together. We had a cookie decorating station for the kids because that's kind of what we do. And literally people were just backing up and unloading cars and backing up and unloading. It was 4 hours of constant donations.
It was amazing. I saw the pictures. It just blew me away.
So we have an 80-foot RV bay. It was filled from the back of the RV bay to the front. We had over 26 bikes. Every bike had a helmet with it, which you can't give a kid a bike without a helmet. So one of the things that the Marines were telling us is that people will donate a bike, but if they don't have a helmet, they have to go buy helmets, right? And that's another expense, on top of wrapping and all that. So we had this garage completely full, and the Marines that were there, so they're young reservists, right? Mm-hmm. These two gentlemen who were there had never been to one of my events. So they probably got told by their commanding officer, hey, you're going to go to this person's house. She's going to have a little party. People are going to drop off some toys. You're going to pick them up and send them. No idea what they were getting into. So when they first showed up, they were very surprised. I know. They were very surprised to see, you're going to go down again. Very surprised to see, already we probably had, 2,000 toys already before the event even started. And so when they showed up, they kept radioing in saying, no, you need to bring a U-Haul. No, you need another vehicle. It's not going to fit in a U-Haul. We need the big U-Haul. So it was pretty funny to watch them because they were so overwhelmed with seeing this. And just the generosity and how much people wanted to be part of this, right? It was so much bigger than anyone had imagined that it would be. Like to be part of something like that, and to know that you made a difference in someone's life, and to have hundreds of people, right? And walk in this garage that's just literally stacked. I mean, we had boxes upon boxes and this entire RV bay just jammed, filled. So when it was all said and done, we made a human line of people, and people stayed behind. People called to ask what they could do, and we'd say, hurry up and get over here and help us load these trucks. We loaded a 32-foot which is like the big, like we're talking moving van.
Big one.
Moving van.
The big one.
With ramps. And we made this human line, and it was senior citizens and 5-year-olds, right? And we were all standing in line, freezing, and we're like putting like a chain of all of this stuff up. And the poor guy who's loading in the inside's like, slow down, wait, you know. And it was literally all the way to the top. They had like grates where they could like mark off the U-Haul so you could stack on top. And it was literally could barely shut the door. And we still filled an entire other van, like a little minivan. We had to put all the seats down. We were putting toys under the seats. Mm-hmm. We were putting toys on the dashboard. Like, it was comical. It was the most unsafe thing ever. Like, we had packed this car. There was a giant teddy bear that we had to roll the window down because the teddy bear was like cramming this window.
I love it.
So we did that plus 2 truckfuls. So we donated all these toys. No possible way of counting the toys as we're going through this. Mm-hmm. Like, we had an idea, but we thought, I was thinking like we probably doubled what we, which again to me was unheard of.
So you guys here, I got to tell you this right now, because she's going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind. When I say that Kathy is somebody, and again, she won't take the credit, but here's the thing. This is a community that came out in full force. Absolutely. This is about the community. This is amazing, but the community wouldn't have come out in full force if it weren't for what Kathy had created, for the reputation that she has, for the person that she is. Oh crap, I'm going to start crying now. For the person that she is, and what she's created here in the community. And so one, I want to make sure that you hear me say that, because people follow great people, and that's why people follow you. And believe in you and trust you. But you guys, here's the thing. So the big event's gone. She doesn't know what she's going to do. She reaches out to friends, family, grotto, I mean, her circle. And you guys have got to hear what happened. When she talks about God having his hands in it, I'm pretty sure he was up to his armpits, because this is what happened. This is the cool part.
Yeah. I think God was saying, I'll show you, you doubt me. Let me show you. So basically, the event is come and gone. We're waiting for our numbers. Normally Toys for Tots will send me some kind of a letter that gives us an idea. And again, we had been the biggest supplier in the Pacific Northwest for years at 2,000 toys. So I'm thinking we did good, right? Like we're
for a single event, single event largest provider.
Correct. And so the 2 Marines that were in the event, one of them came to pick up more toys, because by the way, toys didn't stop because the event stopped. We actually got toys all the way up till Christmas Eve, like continuously getting toys. Plus other people would find out that what we were doing, and they wanted to bring additional toys here, right? Just to be part of the event. They wanted to know the number and where we were at and what we could, what could be added. So this young, Marine walks in full uniform, very stoic, and he says, Mrs. Chambers, I need to tell you something. And I said, okay. And then I noticed that he had tears in his eyes. And I said, what's going on? And he said, would you like your toy count? And I said, yes, please. And the whole office was here. And he said, well, first of all, let me tell you a couple of things. It was the largest donation of bikes ever in the history of Toys for Tots in one single donation, and that all of them had helmets. And he said that on average, so the event was on a Saturday, on Sunday, they would have had 5 people scheduled for after my event to sort the toys. Okay. And that it would generally take them 4 to 6 hours. That's what they had planned on, because they knew this event happened every year. That it took 18 people, and they were there 12 hours, and they hadn't finished sorting the toys yet. And then he said, and you are now the largest, this event is now the largest donation to Toys for Tots in the history of the organization. So since it was started, the largest donation ever in history.
From one single event.
So we're like, okay, you know, and you're holding your breath. And he said, your toy count is at over 7,400 toys without this full box that we had in the office at that time. So we ended up just shy of 7,500 toys, which was enough to not only, and this chokes me up. So on average, what they try to provide for the kids is 2 toys. Okay. 1 wow toy, which is going to be a big toy, right? Like it's going to be something really awesome.
It's going to be the bike or something.
Yeah, the bike, or, you know, a really fancy doll or something like that. And then they do a second toy that's just a regular toy. Very rarely have they ever been able to do 3 toys ever. And they said that they were estimating to be able to do 3 to 4 toys per child in the Treasure Valley. And all of these toys, by the way, stayed local in the Treasure Valley. They stay here. And this Marine is just bawling, and I'm bawling. And he said, thank you, ma'am. And thank you to everyone, because I get to be part of this historic, you know, event, you know?
Yeah.
And so I have to go here again, that like, this doesn't, yes, I may have led the charge, right? Okay. I'm that outspoken, scare people when they meet me type thing, right? You know, I totally get that. But, you know, everyone had a heart for making this happen. And the difference, all I could think of were those kids on that morning, right? And there was one conversation that I had with someone who donated a bike, and I will never, ever forget this. Never. So our good friends, Lori and Dave, they have a teenage son, and he's 16, 17 years old. And they asked him what he would want for Christmas if he could only have one gift, right? And he said, well, I would want a bike, right? So they went out and they bought 5 or 6 bikes, nice bikes, teenage bikes, like adult size bikes, right? And as they donated them, she said to me, I hope this isn't just a toy, but I hope this is freedom and the ability for young individuals to change their lives. And I stopped and thought about that. And then we had a conversation, and she said, if you're 17 years old and your mom and dad are just trying to put food on the table and you get a bike, that's getting a job. That's getting to school. That's helping provide for your family. That's independence. That's pride. That's, it's so much more
than just a gift,
right? Like, and the fact that people took what I asked and turned it into these missions to make the world a better place is just incredible. And I could go on all day, and I won't, but just the stories that I heard of people that, you know, took their grandkids to the store and asked their grandkids to buy gifts, and then explain to them why they were buying them. And then their grandkids asked if they could donate some of their money to buy toys. And these were 4, 5, 6-year-old little kids, you know, like just.
It's the power of the human spirit.
Yeah. It was the most incredible thing. And I will forever be grateful for everyone who stepped up. So thank you to everyone who stepped up and helped us, because, you know, I just don't even have words for how amazing and what a difference it made. And I did talk to the commanding officer afterwards, and he just said, I can't even fathom. Yeah. He goes, how did you do this? Like, how? And I said, this was a whole community. This was people from out of state on Facebook that found out about it, that sent checks to me and said, I'm not going to ship toys, but here's $50, go buy them. Buy what you need. Right? Like, it just incredible.
It's amazing. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad that you let me come and hang out with you
Yes.
today, guys. I'm not kidding you. Seriously, this is amazing. It's amazing stuff. And I love, one of the reasons that I wanted to bring Coffee with Christa to life was the fact that there's so much negativity and so much just junk. And it's like, there are just amazing people in this world, amazing causes, people who are overcomers, just
there's so many things that that I feel, that people need to know. And so look, they just love you. All the hearts going up on the screen. They just love you. And so I'm so grateful that you were my first guest.
Oh, thank you so much.
So
I
glad.
was so
I just
honored.
love you.
And Christa was also very pivotal in this. So she took this to the upper ups and said, we need to support this. And I know that you were so, just respectful and appreciative and wanting to help and putting it out there. And I appreciate it. I really do. I really,
gosh,
really do.
of course. You're more than welcome. I was in the meeting, her grotto meeting. I was sitting in the room when she made the announcement, and I was just like, this is not okay.
When I stood up crying, saying,
yeah, oh, it was devastating.
Yeah. I would say probably, 100% of my grotto group helped this year.
Oh, easily.
But on average, I would say probably 50% of my grotto group actually actively participated in the event, either as a volunteer, a business. I mean, this was them too. Like, I wasn't just telling them that this wasn't happening. I was telling them that I was taking away a little bit of their joy and give back. And that's hard. Right? Like this was so personal, right?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't just that we couldn't do it. It was that it's like going to someone and saying, I know that this fulfills you and your business is amazing and you want to help, but I'm not going to allow you to do that this year. Like, it was just such a hard thing. But it
was a hard thing that day in that room to be able to listen to. And then everyone, we just all kind of, let's fix this. So
I said, it's not going to happen. And they said, Kathy, that's not okay.
That's not like, that's not okay. Let's do a Facebook Live. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's do this. And then I looked over, Bill Ray is a part of Kathy's group, and he's one of the founding members of Grotto. And I'm like, you've got my back on this, right? Because I'm not asking Denver. But of course, Denver was totally on board. Yeah. So for those of you that are watching and you want to know what this Grotto group thing is that we keep talking about, it's a local networking organization here in Treasure Valley. We've got like 11 groups, phenomenal group of people. We're both blessed to be a part of it. So if you're in Treasure Valley and you want to be a part of an amazing group of people, message me. Well, I'm happy to talk to you about it. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Can I leave with one quick thing really quick?
Please do, and then I'll wrap us up.
Yeah. So I just want to say to anyone out there that has aspirations of starting something or doing something, don't ever let someone or a situation tell you no. Use your resources. Go to the people who are passionate like you, that want to help. Everyone has a specialty, a niche, a thing that they're good at, right? I utilized every possible aspect. If I knew someone was great at social media, I asked them to help me. If I knew someone was great at talking to their group, I asked them to help me. If I knew someone who had resources that I didn't have, I asked them, right? I know that if you want to do something, there will always be a way to do it, especially if it's blessing other people. Like, that's the human spirit wants you to do that, right? Mm-hmm. People want to do that, but exactly. So often we allow other people or our fears to tell us we can't do something, right? Mm-hmm. Including myself. I was that person. I can't do this. I can't do this unless I make this big pomp and circumstance party, because people won't bring toys if I don't give them something. And that was so wrong.
Well, it's a mindset thing. I mean, right? People get so caught up in, and that's part of our subconscious. It's that protective piece, and it's so easy to fall into. I mean, these are conversations I have with clients all the time. It's that mindset piece.
It is. And so now it's just kind of those like, okay, so how are we going to go to 10,000 next year? Because it can happen.
Oh,
right?
It's so on, people.
Yeah.
It's on.
So be prepared.
You heard it here. 10,000. 10,000 for Christmas 2019.
Yeah. So I know that people are going to be listening to this going, Kathy, what are you doing?
What did you just do?
But yeah,
she does what Kathy does.
Yeah. And if you guys want any, ideas or how to do something, or you want to partner in this event or anything at all, reach out to me, because I would love this to become, an event where there's 20 places that are doing this all over the Treasure Valley. Because if we could give kids 10 toys, right?
Super fun.
Or we can do something that's just never been done before. Mm-hmm. We're already that community, right?
Oh yeah.
But if we could find some outlets for people to participate that don't believe yet in themselves that they can make this happen, and show them that they can, mm-hmm. Could you imagine what that would do?
So here, I'm going to put a challenge out to everybody. So here's the thing. When we wrap up here, I'm going to have Kathy jump on there and would you put all your contact information, including a link for Toys for Tots? Would you do that, please?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we'll find a Toys for Tots links.
Or is it better for them to just reach out to you?
I would reach out to me because the event doesn't have like a website or anything for that event.
So we're going to have you reach out to Kathy. And here's the thing. There are a bunch of you that are going to be watching this that you're not here in Treasure Valley, but you're thinking, I want to do something like that for my community. This is the woman to tell you how to get the ball rolling. She's seriously, you want to reach out to her. This is someone you should know. This is why we have Coffee with Christa. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Kathy, thank you. I love you. You're such a sweet friend.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. I love the fact that Coffee with Christa is going to be coming to you every single week. And it gives me the privilege and the opportunity to be able to share with you people that I know that you need to know. So please tune in. And in order to make sure that you guys are getting all of the notifications, jump on this business page. If you're watching it now, make sure that you like and follow the business page so that you'll get notified. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Thanks.